What's up, YouTubers? Red Crystal 102 here to review and talk about Metroid Remastered, the game that seems to be making a lot of noise recently, that shadow dropped on Nintendo's most recently Nintendo Direct. Everybody's excited about this game. Everybody over YouTube is talking all about it, as they should. Metroid Prime, to me, is one of the best games on the GameCube, if not the best game on the GameCube. But we'll settle for one of the best games on the GameCube. A lot of people seem to think that Metroid Prime is one of the best games ever created. And you know what? I can agree with that. It's definitely up there. The GameCube was ahead of its time, and so was Metroid Prime. Back in the days, in the early 2000s, and even earlier, I was never a big fan of FPS shooters. And back then, FPS games weren't really all that abundant. And as I said before, I'm a huge Metroid fan. And I remember back in the days where I used to get, when the internet wasn't really up and running like that. Everybody didn't have access to the internet. You had to go to the library. Those are good days, by the way. Anyway, I used to go to my local library or whatever computer terminal I could find at the time and look at IGN. And I remember seeing that Retro Studios was making a first-person Metroid game, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I was actually really upset in my mind, and I was praying to myself, saying, I hope this isn't true. I hope they're not trying to make Metroid into a first-person shooter. And at the time, my little mind couldn't really, my young mind, I was in my 20s at the time, early 20s. I just really, actually, no, I was 18, around 18, 19 years old at the time. Sorry about that, guys. I'm old now, so I can't really remember. It's hard to remember. But anyway, I was saying to myself, I hope this isn't true, because I just couldn't see Metroid in first person. It's just weird. But as time went on and they showed the gameplay at E3 one day, I was like, wow, the game actually looks really good. And then I got really excited over it, especially when I saw the gameplay footage. I was like, wow, this game looks crazy. And it all started to make sense. I mean, at least Retro Studios made it make sense. But the game came out, I got the game, and I was blown away, man. I was so blown away when this game released on the GameCube back in the days. And the game holds up well today, even the standard GameCube version. And to be honest with you guys, I had no idea, we all had no idea that Nintendo was coming out with a Metroid Prime Remaster, even though a few years ago we've been hearing about a Metroid Prime trilogy for some time now. And yeah, it's finally here. But before I knew about the Metroid Prime Remaster, I actually was playing the game several months ago on my emulator on PC, where I can play the game in 4K or 1440p, 60 FPS, and it felt like I just picked up where I left off with the GameCube version. But yes, it did look good, better on my computer, and it ran 60 FPS. But I wasn't really thinking about it. I just thought about wow, this game still looks as good as I remembered. It plays as well as I remembered it. And I would love to know if Metroid Prime on GameCube was even 60 FPS. Back then I didn't care about frame rates. I just played the game. But fast forward to 2023, February, Nintendo Stealth dropped Metroid Prime Remastered, and I went crazy watching that Nintendo Direct when they mentioned Metroid Prime was available for download right after the show. That really had me excited. So the game is $40, and for those physical collectors out there just like myself, I believe on February 27th, basically the end of this month, or close to the end of this month, we'll be also getting a physical version for that game. I don't know how much it'll cost, maybe $40 as well, so double dip, $80, which is fine. I wish I still had my GameCube version of Metroid Prime for the GameCube, but I don't. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'll be getting 2 physical copies. Well, maybe anyway, but I'll be definitely getting 1 physical copy of Metroid Prime, but I may get even 2 physical copies. One to keep on the shelf to sell later on for a high price, and the other one just to, well, actually, you know what? I won't be opening either one of them because I have it digitally, so it'll be pointless for me to even open either physical copies. But anyway, let's get on to this review. It's $40, 60 FPS, and I believe the game is running in 900p. And anybody feel free in the comment section to correct me on that. The game looks gorgeous. A lot of people is even calling this game a remake. Now, I know the difference between a remaster and a remake, and I see why they would call it a remake, but it's not a remake. But the texture work, the walls, the tiles, everything has been pretty much redone in this game. And most importantly, what you will notice, besides the gorgeous 2023 newer graphics, are the lighting. The lighting in this game is really, really, really good. This game looks gorgeous. Character models look gorgeous, cleaner, sharper. Text looks cleaner, sharper. I mean, the game just looks gorgeous, man. The game looks so good, you would think it's a remake. But it's not a remake, so let's make that clear. And I won't argue with anybody that wants to call it a remake or see it as a remake, because that's how good of a job Nintendo and Retro Studios did with the remaster for this game. The game is phenomenal. I love it. It's great. You have several different control schemes. You have the standard GameCube setup, and you can also use a GameCube controller on there as well. If you have the adapter, you have a dual stick setup for like modern FPS shooter feel, and you have the gyro. You can combine the gyro controls with the motion controls, just like they had like on the Wii. Pretty dope. My personal favorite actually is just the standard left and right analog dual setup. I ran with that. I never tried the other control schemes. I'm pretty sure they're good, but I will give it a shot. But for right now, I'm comfortable using the dual analog setup. There's not too much negativity I can say about this game. And also, guys, I'm not gonna get too much in depth with this review and my thoughts of Metroid Prime, because even before I made this video, they had several videos. They had tons of videos, even the same day, which kind of puzzled me on how quick people review the game. I'm like, wow, the game just came out. How are you even reviewing the game? I have never beaten Metroid Prime. I came pretty close. I was really, really far in that game, but I have great knowledge, extended knowledge of Metroid Prime. I'm very knowledgeable on the game because, like I said, I almost beaten the game back in the days, and I still remember everything pretty much. But the game is great. It's phenomenal. I recommend anybody to go out there and pick it up. For the newcomers, go ahead and pick it up. You don't have to play any Metroid game in line. You can just play whatever Metroid game you feel like playing, but don't feel as if, and this is for the newcomers, don't feel as if you never touched a Metroid game and you're wondering if you should run with Metroid Prime. Yes, go ahead. Doesn't matter. You don't have to play the games in order. It's a phenomenal game. What can I say? So the positives: great graphics. It's 60 FPS. All the textures in this game has been redone, reworked, which are consistent of the tiles, the walls, the enemies, everything. Everything feels great in this game. And you have a casual difficulty and you have the normal difficulty. The game is great, guys. What can I say? Now, as far as negativity goes, I really don't have anything negative to say about this game per se. But I'll mention 2 pet peeves. I kind of don't like how they have the buttons set up. They have the morph ball as the X button, I believe. Sometimes I get Nintendo switches and buttons confused, but I don't like how they have the morph ball on the Y button, because I remember on the GameCube, I believe it was well, I can't even remember on the GameCube, but I remember on the missile button was the face button. So whenever I wanted to shoot a missile, I kept on hitting the morph ball button, which is the Y button on the Joy-Con. So I don't know if you can customize your controller in this game. I haven't looked, I haven't tried, but I hope you can. But I got used to it, I guess. I really wouldn't say I'm used to it 100%, but I'm kind of used to it. But every now and then I will, or excuse me, guys, every now and then I would still accidentally hit the Y button, thinking it's how you shoot your missiles when it's actually the top button. So the ZR button is to shoot your standard gun, and the R trigger is to shoot your missiles, I believe, and the ZL is to aim. So it would have been cool if you can switch around your buttons, and I would definitely put the morph ball button as the L trigger and put the missiles as either the Y trigger or the X trigger. I'll probably put the missile button as the Y trigger, and I would be a happy camper. And lastly, my last pet peeve is the game is dark. It's a lot darker than I can remember. That's the only thing I don't like about it. The game is really dark, so you have to play in a lit environment, a lit room. If you're playing in handheld mode, on the TV, it's not that bad. But I've noticed that the game is dark and there is no option in the display to turn up the brightness, which is weird in 2023. You should always have a brightness option to turn up your brightness, because the game is really dark. And when I play Metroid Prime on my Nintendo Switch, I turn the brightness on the console itself all the way up. So here's hoping that Nintendo could come out with a patch and they give us a display option and a button configuration option. But don't get me to lie on the button configuration option, because like I said, I don't know if the option is to change your control scheme around. It probably is. I was just too lazy. I just roll with the standard controller settings, just roll with the punches, and just tell my brain, Red Crimson, you're gonna get used to the button scheme. But I just can't shake the fact that they put the morph ball on the Y button. That's kind of weird to me. So there's a control scheme change. I will be putting the missile button on the Y trigger and find another button to have the morph ball on. And another thing somebody mentioned too, this is a third pet peeve, not for me though. I mean, I don't really see a problem with it, but it's a map, the wireframe map. Some people are saying, hey, they could have updated the map. I guess they could have, but I guess they probably also felt like there was no need to. The map is pretty much self-explanatory. It is pretty much easy to read. The only problem I have with a map is the way how you navigate the map. When you can move the map, you can flip the map. The direction where you think the map should move when you're on the analog stick, it doesn't do it. It's always the opposite. So you might hit left on the Joy-Con to thinking that the map will move to the left, but actuality it wouldn't even move it. It's just weird. It's just weird how you have to navigate the map in the menu. But I don't have any problem with the wireframe map. It's pretty much self-explanatory. And what I love about it, because Nintendo hardly do this with their games, you kind of really can't get lost in Metroid Prime, or rather it's hard to get lost in the game, because like every now and then when you get an upgrade and you're walking close to your destination, like every now and then wherever you need to go will actually pop up on your screen, and you just have to hit the start button to go into your map and see where the game wants you to go next. So that's a good thing, because Nintendo barely does that in the games. They didn't do that with Zelda Breath of the Wild. Zelda Breath of the Wild, I actually had to turn to YouTube or a strategy guide, more so YouTube, because it's more accessible and easier to know exactly where to go, because they only give you hints, and the hints I feel as if they give you is not good. It's not what's that word I'm looking for? I'll just keep it simple anyway. It's not easy enough to understand. It's almost like a riddle, so I would have to always go on YouTube to find out, hey, where do you go in Breath of the Wild to get this item, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, guys, Metroid Prime Remastered for the Nintendo Switch, man, was a godsend. I'm glad Nintendo did this. It took them a long while, which didn't make any sense whatsoever. Go out there and get the game. It's a great game. People are impressed with it. You can see other videos on YouTube about it, so I had to do a video about it because Metroid Prime is my game, and I'm really glad that Nintendo actually decided to come out with this game. And out of the Prime series 1, 2, and 3, I would say probably the third game was the best one, and Metroid Prime 1 is my second best. The second game, I never really got into it. It didn't really move me. I think that was the weakest one. And I can care less for that one. But you already know, if Nintendo comes out with a remaster for that game, I'll be getting it as well. But I'd rather them just go ahead and just skip 2 and go straight to 3. But I don't know what Nintendo's gonna do. I'm pretty sure they're gonna drip feed us the series. A couple months from now we may get Prime 2 Echoes, and a couple months after that, then we get the complete package, which is Metroid Prime 3. They're giving us time to finish the first game. We'll see if they drop a second game. We'll see if they drop the Corruption. Corruption was the best one. I really did like that one. Never finished it. Never finished any of the Prime games, and the Prime games are very hard actually. And the control scheme for Metroid Prime Remaster, excuse me guys, actually make the game a lot easier. The dual sticks is a godsend. The newer control scheme makes the game feel a lot better. So the controls, A+, graphics, A+, sound design, you already know Metroid Prime has great music, and Metroid is known for their great atmospheric music. I wish they had more tunes in there versus the atmospheric sound, but it is what it is. And A+ for the music as well. And I can't wait to get the physical edition. I may pick up 2 copies, and it'll be cool if Nintendo had like a special case for that game, a special metal case, and at least come with a manual and a poster. That'll be dope, but who knows, right? So overall, the game is positive. I haven't really not many negative things about it, aside from the 2 pet peeves that I have with the game. Other than that, it's a perfect port. It's a nice port. I agree with everything positive that everybody on YouTube is saying about the game. Go get it. Metroid Prime is one of the greatest games ever made, and I'm glad it's on the Nintendo Switch, and I hope Nintendo makes the other Prime games available. So the overall score for this game is a A+, a perfect 10. Those new to my channel, like and subscribe. Red Crimson 102 out, and see you all on the next video. Enjoy the game if you have it.